I move that we approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Thank you. We are going to convene to
We need
closed
to
session.
vote.
Oh, what?
We need to vote on the agenda.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Now, we'll convene to closed session. Do we have any public comments on item 3A? Public employee appointment of chief business official.
Okay, so turn this. Easy.
Turn on my microphone.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Item 4A, there was no action taken in closed session. And if everybody will please rise for the flag salute. Where is it? Go, Jim. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 5A, presentations. Recognition of 2021 district retirees. I'd like to call our first presenter up, Jen Hansen.
Hello, everyone. It is not every day that you stand on the stage for your retirement recognition at the same place where you graduated high school. I am honored to have a few moments to talk about Rancho Cotati alumni and retiring Evergreen second grade teacher Yvonne Cobert. Yvonne has been a member of the CRPUSD family since 1989, teaching grades 2nd through 5th for the past 32 years. She started her career at La Fiesta and then moved to Thomas Page from 1998 until 2012. In 2012, Yvonne joined Team Evergreen and has been teaching 2nd grade. In addition to her many years of service in the district, she has served in many capacities in RIPSIA as well. Yvonne would like to mention that she has had a very fulfilling career that has had a lot to do with the privilege to work in a shared contract. She will forever be grateful to the district and administrators who supported her teaching partnerships over the years. When you enter Yvonne's classroom, you immediately feel transported back in time. It has a very classy vintage vibe with antiques, classic artwork, and her blackboard that she fought hard to keep in her classroom, even after we received whiteboards and Apple TVs. It smells like coffee and cinnamon. She is often playing calming music, and it just feels like a cozy, homey, and wonderful atmosphere for learning. It always feels good in Mrs. Cobert's room, and I personally love to spend time in room E3. Yvonne is an avid supporter of using every instructional minute for the teaching and learning of her students, to which she accounts from her time spent working in Title I schools. To Yvonne, there is not a moment to be wasted on anything frivolous when students can be making academic or social emotional growth. She is very much focused on the growth and development of each child and knows exactly what they need by the end of the year to be ready for 3rd grade. I highly respect Yvonne's expectations that she has for her students and their families. She is not afraid to hold people accountable for what they truly need to be doing to ensure the academic and social success of each and every student. Yvonne has a strong ethical core and is passionate about giving each child the opportunity to succeed in school and in life. She is not afraid to hold families to a high standard to help their children, and it is powerful to watch them rise to the occasion with her support. I am so proud of Yvonne and what she has accomplished in CRPUSD, especially during this past year of distance learning. She never gave up, even when things were hard, and continued to revise and tweak her program to meet the evolving needs of her 2nd graders. In her retirement, Yvonne and her husband Jerome plan to spend the next year abroad, fulfilling their dream to live in Israel. I know she has plans to spend many days relaxing on the beach, baking apple pies, and decorating her delicious and stunning sugar cookies. We hope that Yvonne will come back and visit us at Evergreen when she is back in town, and we wish her all the best in her very well-deserved retirement.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. You can't go.
Next, I would like to call up Rachel Ankerson.
I was worried I'd be out of breath. Clearly, I'm pregnant, so sorry if I'm a little puffy from breathing heavily. Good evening. I'm Rachel Ankerson, the principal of Hahn Elementary, and it is my pleasure to speak to you on Jan's behalf tonight. Jan spent 10 years as a preschool teacher. Following that, she came to CRPUSD, where she has spent the past 22 years. She has worked at Thomas Page, Goldridge, and has spent the past 14 years at Hahn. Jan has served on curriculum adoption committees, been a site RIPSIA rep, and has mentored student teachers. Some of her best memories were taking students overnight to Angel Island and having her students get dressed up and taking a limo to see plays. As I've been reflecting on Jan as an educator, the word dedicated kept coming to mind. There isn't a single thing she wouldn't do for one of her students. She spends time connecting with each of her students. Walk into her class at any time and there is a comfortable buzz amongst the classroom. In her class, students use high academic vocabulary. They work together as a team to coach each other into new learning. Jan leads by example. She's a lifelong learner. Every year I've watched her work hard to perfect her old skills as well as find new ways to better her teaching. This transfers to her students. They are proud of their learning and they take ownership over it. A few years ago, my daughter was in her class. She had a chance to go to Disneyland on a Monday, to which she replied, "I can't. We have so much learning to do." Jan not only captures the minds of the Room 24 champs, but also their hearts, and year after year, her former students stop by to visit. Jan goes above and beyond what is expected. It's not uncommon for her to work well past dark during the weekdays and to be in her classroom on the weekends. Side note, Victor, who's being represented later, used to walk her to her car every night. Last year, when the pandemic hit, Jan spent all of Easter Sunday driving to each one of her students' houses to deliver bags to each of them. For many reasons, I'm not sure what we're going to do without her. Jan has been the core of our school's hospitality team. Each year, she has helped us celebrate staff members, mourn their losses, and has helped us create a very special school community. Jan has also helped me gauge our staff stress level. It's common to walk into the staff room or her classroom and find her moving furniture. This process has helped her refocus on the looming tasks, but also gave the staff and students a laugh. When you walked into a room, nothing looked the same. Everyone knew that report cards were due. It was time to have a parent-teacher conference or assessments were on the horizon. Most of all, we will miss having our friend on campus each day. While we know there is an unfamiliarity to retirement and under normal circumstances, our staff room would be changed daily right now, know that you're welcome back anytime. We'd love for you to sub. We'd be happy to have you set up our classrooms, but mostly don't forget to stop by on your trips back from Tahoe and in between your added time with your family. We wish you all the best. Thank you for your years of dedication to both your students and our school.
Next is Josh Savage.
Hello, I'm Josh Savage, and I have the pleasure of honoring Victor Boyd. Oh, come on out, Victor. So Victor's been a custodian with the school district, and he's worked for us for 27 years, and I've had the pleasure of working him for 15 of those years. What I always appreciate about Victor is how he interacts and invests in people and treats them like family. I've heard countless stories from teachers and principals about him walking them to their cars late at night to make sure that they were safe. Anytime we had a new custodian starting, Victor would take them under his wing and teach them how we did things. He was always willing to share his knowledge and expertise. Even when he had to go on modified duty, he was enthusiastic about being a campus supervisor and keeping the middle school kids in line. He just has a way with people and easily connects with everyone he comes in contact with. It was obvious that Victor cared greatly for this district. I believe Victor made a lasting impact on many people's lives, including mine. Congratulations on retirement, Victor. You've earned it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for your 27 years of service. You'll be greatly missed.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Of course you get one. You guys can get one. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I would like to call up Monica Fong.
Good evening. Yay. Good evening, everybody. I'm Monica Fong, the principal at John Reed Elementary School, and we have 4 veteran teachers retiring tonight. So first we have Miss Stephanie Phillips. And Stephanie began her career as a volunteer at Goldridge Elementary School in 1990. She went on to earn her teaching credential at Sonoma State in 1998. She served as a long-term substitute at the first Richard Crane Elementary School. She's worked at 6 different elementary schools in Rohnert Park with 8 different administrators in her favorite district, Cotati-Rohnert Park. Her favorite memories are being with colleagues and parents and helping children to reach their goals. She's enjoyed field trips to Jamestown, Safari West, Armstrong Woods, and various pumpkin patches. She became a teacher to see her kids shine, and she says that every day. Congratulations, Stephanie. And next is Mr. Ben Condon. Ben, when he was a young parent, also volunteered at Goldridge, and he was a crossing guard where his children were attending school. One of the teachers saw how Ben was interacting with the students and said to him, "You've got to be a teacher." And the rest is history. He began as a substitute teacher, and he went on to get his multiple subjects credential. Ben has now been teaching for 25 years. First as a substitute for 1 year at Yalupin Bennett Valley, and then for 21 years in Cotati-Rohnert Park, all at John Reed Elementary School. Congratulations, Ben. And next we have Miss Sandy Bartholomew. Sandy has been a teacher for 38 years. She started as an elementary teacher in Sonoma and then as a special education teacher in Soledad. Always looking for a challenge, Sandy then decided to become an RSP teacher abroad, and she taught at international schools in Germany and Taiwan. After returning to the U.S., she landed in Cotati-Rohnert Park and has been here for over 20 years. She was an RSP teacher at Mountain Shadows and Lawrence Jones Middle Schools before transferring to John Reed. She has many fond memories of the students, and she's taught at various schools, and she still has special relationships with many of her colleagues and previous students. And she's been at John Reed for, I didn't write that one down, 16 years?
About 10, I guess.
About 10.
10, 11.
Okay. Congratulations, Sandy. but not least, Miss Kathy C Strand. Kathy did her student teaching in the fall of 1990 when she was pregnant with her third child. After taking some time with her son, she began subbing. She took several long-term substitute jobs before getting a permanent position. She has now been teaching 31 years with only 1 year at Waldo Rohnert Elementary and all the other years at John Reed. Her advice to new teachers is to fill your own cup before you pour into others. This is a quote she's always thought about and agreed with. And while some years have been hard, every year is a chance for a new start to learn and grow with your students. And she believes that working with kids has helped to keep her young at heart. Congratulations, Kathy. I can't tell you how different it will be at John Reed without the four of you, and it's going to be emotional to see your rooms with different people in them, but we hope you'll come back and visit us after you're laying on the beach and enjoying yourself. So here's your sign, Sandy. Thank you. Pink, that would look nice. That would look real nice.
Congratulations.
Good morning. I got to shake your hand. Thank you.
I'd like to call up Louis Gansler.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to introduce Betsy Moses as our retiree this year. Betsy has had 30 years of experience working in this district alone. To me, as I was thinking about what I was going to say, I thought about what the purpose of public education is. And to me, it's to disrupt. It is to take someone's trajectory and lift it. And to me, Betsy embodies that spirit, both in her philosophy and in her actions. And the work that she's done at Rancho Cotati High School over the last 30 years has just been extraordinary, and it encapsulates that philosophy. As the demographics of the high school changed, Betsy helped develop Spanish for Spanish speakers, and then created a pathway into AP Spanish. And so we have one of the most, no, actually the most successful AP program, drawing from students who did not envision taking an AP class. It has the highest pass rate of any AP class that we have. And that, to me, is extraordinary. She's also been the advisor for MECHA, and she's also served as department chair, as well as in senior positions in RIPSIA. After 30 years, Betsy is leaving, but she leaves a pathway, a club, and a lot of students who have felt at home at Rancho, and that is a legacy.
Thank you. I would also like to recognize we have two retirees not attending this evening. Lisa Palmer, 14 years from Lawrence Jones, and Ray Poole, 5 years from the District Office of Business and Fiscal Services. Thank you for their service as well. I would like to call up our student board members, Addison and Reagan. Hello. Hello. Hi, Addison. The district would like to thank you and express our sincere appreciation. This is actually for Addison. Sorry. You can both come up. You can both come up. For dedicated service as a student board member 2021 school year. And we also have one for Reagan as well. We would like to thank you for your dedicated service as a student board member. So if you'd like to come get your plaques. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay, public comments. Just two?
Yeah.
First one, I'm sorry?
Wait.
Are we reading out?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Actually, no, public comments are first and then the reports.
Okay.
So you have to come back.
Okay.
Public comments. Tracy Ewens. You go right behind you to the podium right there. We'd like to remind members of the public to keep your comments concise and brief. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual and 20 minutes per item. And as a reminder, please wear your mask and follow all safety protocols while at the podium. Thank you.
Can I start? I've never done this before. Talk to,
I
am I
think
doing
you have
it?
to
Can you hear me? Yeah, good, okay. My name is Tracy Ewens. I live here in Roanoke Park over on Jasmine Circle. I'm a parent of a 4th grader at Evergreen and a 6th grader at Lawrence Jones. I've also taught in the district for 22 years, and all those people retiring just moved me way up on that seniority list, which is kind of a little scary for me. And I currently teach 2nd grade at Evergreen. I'm here to talk about the combination classes in elementary schools for the 21-22 school year. I've taught 3 combinations over the last 22 years. When I was about to be assigned my 4th combo, I was given the choice to teach another combo or switch to 5th grade from the grade I taught for 9 years. I immediately chose to switch to a new grade and work hard to learn something new and be the best teacher I could. Over the other choice of working very hard to be a substandard teacher in 2 different grades and be just emotionally drained. Combination classes do not just affect the students in the combination class. They also affect the students in both grades. So a 3-4 combo affects all the 3rd graders and all the 4th graders at that site. When the combination class is made, the most independent workers and leaders are quite often chosen for the combination classes, which then means that the majority of the students that have behaviors that take the teacher's attention are placed in the same class, which potentially doesn't have many students that are role models because they're all in the combination class. Also, the combination classes are normally maxed at 28, and any new students that come, the overages normally go into that class. I've personally refused to allow my daughters to be in combination classes, even though the teachers they would have would be the ones their sister had before, because I know it's impossible for even the most amazing teachers to be able to teach 2 grades at once and cover all the standards. I currently have 2nd graders that I'm so happy are in my classroom, and I have everybody in my classes there, so I have all roomies, that are socially, emotionally not ready for 3rd grade. They're beginning of 2nd grade socially right now. And they're academically, because I've been teaching all year, they're ready for 3rd grade, but they don't know how to take a cap off a glue bottle. And they could potentially be placed into a 3-4 combination class. So you have these little guys who are gonna end up out with the big kids. And this just is not okay. I feel strongly for the 21-22 school year, it would be completely not acceptable or responsible for students to be placed in combination classes. Students have just finished a year of school during a global pandemic with distance learning and hybrid. Combination classes should not ever exist, in my opinion, but most importantly, not in the upcoming school year. Our students have already had 1/5 of their elementary school experience be disrupted by a pandemic. If we want our students to grow socially and emotionally, which is very much needed, and academically, we must not have combination classes for next year. please find the way to provide for all of our younger students to not be in combination classes. And I'd also love small class sizes, but combination classes over that. This is super important, so thank you.
Next up, we have Katie.
I've never done this before either. So I think it's great that the announcement was made that school will be in session for full days with a full program next year, so thank you for that. As a parent of 2 elementary school children, I am interested in more information on how that's going to work, specifically related to classroom size. I have 2 questions related to classroom size. The first relates to health and safety. While the state plans to reopen this summer, there's going to be health and safety concerns into the fall. How will student interactions and proximity be addressed? My second question relates to academics. Students will be returning to school after a full year of distance learning. Many will be behind and will need smaller class sizes to support their academic development. What can we expect for class sizes next fall in light of greater student need for support? Thank you.
Next up, we have Freya.
I don't have the guts to do it.
I'm sorry. Oh, is that what she said? Okay. Next up, Danielle. Freya, do you want to go up with your mom? Okay.
I'm sorry, I suck at public speaking, just like she does. This board, you guys are supposed to have the kids' best interest at heart. It is not so. She has been having difficulties. Teachers have not been open to helping. They have also been very behind. I have a friend of hers, the mom calls me almost weekly with tech questions. Our IT team was not there to support parents. This cannot continue. If the faulty leadership and crappy communication continues, the pissed off parents of this district will file a recall and take down any of the trustees that do not have our kids' best interests at their heart.
Uh, 7A, student board members' reports. Addison, do you want to go first? There you go.
Good evening, everyone. As we head into our final weeks of our school year and a few weeks into our hybrid learning, I want to give a shout out to all the students who've made it through these couple of years and the teachers and staff who've helped to make learning as engaging and wonderful as possible during these tough times. By next year, our students will be prepping to make the 2021-2022 school year as amazing and wonderful for our returning classes as possible. Now on to our ASB news. We have filed positions for club liaison and PTSA district representative, which for both of them will be represented by me. And for PR, we have Madeline Denise for the 2021-22 school year. For graduation teams are currently planning a school-wide graduation ceremony under current COVID social distancing guidelines, and it will be a memorable day for all senior students and families. As we return to school, ASB did a one-word survey for students on how they felt about the return to school. For freshmen, we got words of nervous, change, quiet, better, fun, and great. For sophomores, we got swag, exciting and refreshing. For juniors, we got short. For seniors, we got hectic, unnecessary, Orwellian, relief, awesome, cool, and refreshing. I've been able to return to school myself, and while it has been a bit of a massive change for me, I've been able to enjoy my classes even more, and I feel more motivated and driven in my educational career. For our club news, Sustainability Club finished their cleanup in partnership with the Rotary Club of Roanoke Park and the City Department of Roanoke Park of Public Works. And Programming Club and Art Club have essentially concluded for the year and are preparing their future and hosting elections for positions in the next year. As for our committees, Video Committee is responsible for planning a senior slideshow and is working on gathering photos, interviewing selected students, and compiling them all together. Podcast Committee has finished filming with teachers Ms. Alvarez and Mr. Torrey, and they're working on editing and distributing to the student body. Student Game Night happened on the 8th, with burritos and dessert served out to students for a wonderful socially distanced fun fest, with a variation of pickleball being played by all students by the end of the day. As for ASB, we're working on wrapping the year with some final character development lessons and beginning to plan for the next year. Our summer retreat is on June 3rd and 4th to dive into a full return to campus next year. Thank you for having me, and I can't wait to serve on this board of representatives next year.
Hello, everyone. As the 2020-2021 school year comes to a close, Rancho has been preparing for graduation and other end-of-the-year activities. Graduation will be on May 28th, and 2 ceremonies will be held. The first ceremony is at 4 p.m. with the last names A through L, and then at 7 p.m., the ceremony for last names M through Z will be held. Our current COVID-19 status allows for each graduating student to bring 7 guests. Last Thursday, we concluded our final canned food drive for the year, as well as the blood drive. We had a pretty good turnout, and I give a huge thank you to everyone who donated, whether it was at one of the events or at both. Our return to in-person learning has been smooth sailing so far. Every day at the ranch, we have about 400 kids attending classes in person. Regarding seniors, I'm so happy and excited to announce that we are having senior week activities. On Monday, we'll have a virtual awards ceremony. On Tuesday, we'll be able to pick up our caps and gowns, as well as drop off any books or school supplies we've had over the past year at home. On Wednesday, us seniors get to have a little throwback to elementary school with field day, which I am the most excited about. On Thursday, we will watch our last sunset as high school seniors and finally graduate on Friday. It's a very bittersweet moment. I have been working on teacher and staff appreciation gifts, which will be given out on the last week of school. In conclusion to my report, I wanted to thank everyone, not only here in person, but also at home. This was truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that I'm lucky to have had. Thank you for listening to all my reports and supports I've gotten outside of these meetings. I can't wait for Caitlin to take over for me and wow you guys with her drive. Thank you all, and have a great summer.
Item 7B, Roanoke Park Toddy Educators Association Report. Emily King.
Good evening, everyone. This month seems to have flown by, and now we have just about a week and a half left in the school year. This past month, we've been able to establish new relationships with students, assess where students are at, both academically and emotionally, and get back to a new normal on campuses. The outlook for the control of the virus is looking really positive as more and more individuals are able to be vaccinated, including children aged 12 and up, and we are really happy to hear that the district is anticipating a full return to in-person learning on campuses, starting in July for Richard Crane and August for all the other schools. We will continue to meet with the district throughout the summer to plan for a smooth and safe transition to the 2021 and 22 school year. This month, we were able to work collaboratively with the district team to negotiate an addendum to the hybrid learning MOU to shift to 3 feet distancing between students for the summer school and extended school year sessions that will be offered in June. Our members were generally in favor of adding more students to cohorts considering the new CDC spacing guidelines, but wanted to do so at the start of summer school in order to finish off this school year with a consistent schedule. We greatly appreciate that the district worked with us to listen to our teachers and focus on the logistics for summer and fall. As we reflect on the last 10 months and look ahead to next school year, we want to acknowledge the challenges everyone has faced and use the knowledge that we've gained to improve our schools and create a more equitable system for all of our students. One way to do this is to be strategic in our planning for next year. Last week, the governor announced the May revision to the budget proposal that once again includes increased funding for our schools. According to the governor's report, the May revision includes total funding of $121.7 billion for all K-12 education programs, the highest level of funding in California's history. Per pupil funding is also at the highest levels ever, totaling $13,977 per pupil in Proposition 98 General Fund and $21,152 per pupil when accounting for all funding sources. This is excellent news and shows that our state is committed to improving our schools. With more funding becoming available, we ask the board to prioritize decisions that will have the greatest impact on all CRP-USD students. We strongly believe that class sizes need to be reduced, not only to help decrease the spread of the virus amongst our students who are not yet vaccinated, but also to ensure the best possible instruction where teachers can provide more individual attention and academic interventions as needed. Classes of 26 to 31 students in elementary and over 30 students, sometimes 40 students in secondary, are not conducive to a positive learning environment where students' needs can be accurately addressed and assessed. In addition, we are concerned that combination classes are planned for next school year. Combination classes, as we heard, are difficult to teach in a normal school year. And although next school year will look much more typical, it'll be an essential year in our students' development and learning. Students in combo classes miss out on being taught a full day at their own level. Considering that many students will need additional supports to get to grade level proficiency, combination classes will do a disservice to our students and have the potential to cause some students to fall further behind academically. I think all of us, community members, parents, teachers, administrators, can agree that we need to do all we can to provide students the best possible learning experience this next school year. As elected board members, please consider this and advocate for a decreased class size and the reconfiguration of class numbers so that our students are not placed in combination classes. As this year comes to a close, I want to take a moment to recognize the 7 Rohnert Park-Cotati Educator Association members who are retiring. They were already recognized tonight, but I want to do so as well. These members have been longtime educators in our district and have touched the lives of countless children throughout their careers. Many have been active in RIPSIA as executive board members, site reps, and committee chairs. They've also served our district as members of site councils, PTAs, numerous committees and task forces, by directing school plays and musicals and running many, many extracurricular activities. They are known by their colleagues for their wealth of knowledge, their fun-loving personalities, their quirky ties and hats, their commitment to students, and the general support and guidance they have offered to so many new teachers and professionals over the years. These 7 individuals have each given about 20 to 30 years of service to this district, and many taught for some years prior as well. Combined, that is 169 years of teaching experience amongst these 7 educators. Please join me in thanking and congratulating Sandy Bartholomew, Yvonne Cobert, Ben Condon, Jan Forney, Betsy Moses, Stephanie Phillips, and Kathy C Strand. I also want to thank Robert, our CBO, for all you've done for our district and wish you the best on your well-deserved retirement as well. I also want to thank and congratulate all of the district retirees honored tonight. Later this month, RIPSIA will award 4 outstanding high school seniors with $250 scholarships. Our association motto is "We educate, we motivate, and we inspire." And we award these scholarships to 2 RCHS and 2 Tech High seniors because they have shown these very same values. RIPSIA teachers at Rancho and Tech High nominated students because they were motivated to do their personal best as they worked towards the academic goals while inspiring others on campuses as well. Their hard work and dedication is recognized by RIPSIA, and we hope our scholarships will play a small part in their continued success. So those will be announced later this month. I'm also happy to let the board know that our RIPSIA Rep Council voted this past week to join North Bay Jobs with Justice, which is a grassroots coalition of labor and community in the North Bay, who bring communities together to advocate for workers' rights. North Bay Jobs for Justice believes that workers should have collective bargaining rights, employment security, and a decent standard of living within an economy that works for everyone. We are really excited to partner with this organization and build coalitions with our community across Sonoma County while we continue to stand up for economic, racial, and climate justice. One of my big goals for this next school year is to continue this work by implementing a RIPSIA equity team to evaluate district programs, texts, and practices, and advocate for justice and equity for all of our students and staff. Joining North Bay Jobs for Justice is just one step towards this goal. We would love to hear more from our trustees about your vision for equity and justice in our district, and we hope to get the chance to meet with you this summer to discuss ways that we can all work together to further support our students. Thank you for your service to our district and our community this year. We really appreciate it from everyone, and RIPSIA wishes everyone a wonderful and restful summer. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Item 7C, Sonoma County Quarterly Treasurer's Report for the quarter ending March 31st, 2021, posted on the website.
This is an annual communication that we receive from Sonoma County.
Item 8, consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve items 8A through 8J?
I move that we approve the consent agenda items 8A through 8J.
Can I get a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 9A, summer school presentation.
Well, good evening, trustees. It is finally time to talk about summer school, and we've been waiting for this. It's been requested several times, and a lot of folks have come together to prepare the planning that we have for summer school. So let me put this here. And I'm going to be joined by 3 of our principals to discuss our summer school offerings. So let me get this in.
Is there any way we can turn up your microphone a little bit? I'm having trouble hearing you.
Oh, let me actually turn this one off so we don't have an echo, and I'll speak into this one. Is that better? All right.
I think so.
Because I'm a little short, so I have to lean in. So for our summer school program, we're going to share with you what we're doing for elementary school, middle school, and the high school program. So, clicker. Or do I need to turn it on? There we go. So summertime is here, and our programs, we made sure that we address the learning loss mitigation, which is on our minds, credit recovery, which is an important part of addressing the needs of our high school students, providing enriching programs, and provide students with opportunities for safe social interactions. And I want to preface by saying that the funding for the summer school programs is the Extended Learning Opportunity Grant, which is the next agenda item after this presentation. So this summer school offerings that we have meets the extended learning portion of that grant, as well as credit recovery, which are required, there are allowable uses of that grant funding. So for our high school offering, it will be here at Rancho Cotati High School. It will run June 7th through June 25th. And we're going to offer 2 sessions. And I don't think we have our high school administrator, so I'll go on to share that we're going to run 2 sessions, one from 9 to 11, one from 12 to 2. It is a credit recovery-based program, so it will be through the Edgenuity platform. But students will have a teacher assigned to the class, as well as the Edgenuity teacher. The Edgenuity teacher is credentialed in the specific area of the course. Our teacher will be there to help support the students to ensure that they're making adequate progress towards their credit recovery. We're also going to open up the opportunity for students that may need to have a grade replacement to ensure that they have A through G completion. And so the way that students are being identified is school counselors are going through and identifying the students that are in need for either credit recovery or grade replacement. So the middle school program will take place at Tech Middle School. It will run the same times from June 7th through June 25th. There'll be week-long theme programs incorporating STEM and language arts. And again, school administrators are using a criteria-based process to identify students in need. And joining me is Melissa, who's going to share a little bit more about the middle school planning.
So as Dr. Perez mentioned, this is an opportunity for our middle school students from TPA, TMS, and LJ to participate in extended learning. And we wanted to really focus on ELA and mathematics, but have it be more fun because the kids haven't had that interactive experience all year. So we're going to have essentially some theme weeks. So the STEM week is going to focus on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics camp. The kids will likely be participating in a financial literacy project. VAPA stands for Visual and Performing Arts. So that will be really based in arts, drawing, potentially reading a play, getting their artistic juices flowing. And then the last week will be featuring a nature camp or more outdoor interactive project-based items. And we're super excited. I have to say, this is the first time I can remember in my 19-year tenure that we've actually had extended learning for middle schoolers. And so to have this opportunity to bring 120 at-risk students back to school, and hopefully we can extend that to maybe 180, it all depends on staffing, but guaranteed 120 students, we are over the moon thrilled for our families who can participate.
And these summer school programs are in addition to the extended school year that is always offered to our students with IEPs that require extended school year. So this is really a big extension of the program from what we've had in the past in the district. Elementary school will be located at John Reed's campus. It'll run again from June 7th through June 25th. And student hours will be 8:30 to 12:10. We are in partnership with the YMCA. We're really grateful for the partnership that we have with the YMCA. So in a further slide, I'll share the extended hours that the YMCA will be offering for the students that participate in the summer school program. And so our focus will be literacy-based. We're going to share a little bit more, Dr. Fong will share a little bit more about the programs that we have. And again, school administrators are using a criteria-based approach to identify students in need. We have kept the elementary school summer school program at 300. Just to ensure that we can have a real adequate program for students, and our vision is to be able to expand this greatly for next summer. But this summer we will strive to have a very robust program for 300 students. And so Dr. Fong.
Thank you. So we have received lots of new English language arts material over at John Reed. And it's Fontes and Pinnell, it's a big reading program, and it has a lot of really cute books. We're going to have some literacy-based themes. So like for kindergarten, we have some little reading books. We're going to learn about tiny things and gigantic things. And the content will include fiction, nonfiction, high-interest topics. And then the students obviously will be focusing on language development, writing, which has been difficult to do with distance learning. And then we have a supplemental math curriculum that has been ordered. After that, the students will be in YMCA groups, and they'll be extending these content areas, doing STEM activities, doing extension activities, having outdoor times, things like that. So we're really excited to have all those students on the John Reed campus, and they will come from all the different elementary schools and have it at the one location. So we're getting all that staffing in place right now and getting rooms ready as soon as the regular school year is over. So really excited about that opportunity.
Thank you. In addition to the curriculum that Dr. Fong shared, we have a curriculum that is specific for English learners that we will be using in conjunction with other curriculum for our fourth and fifth grade students. And we are purchasing a summer math program. So it's a math program that is designed to be delivered in the summer. So concepts are compacted, but also delivered in a really enriching and engaging manner. So the nice thing about this is teachers don't have to write lessons for the literacy or math program because those lessons will come ready for them. So they can really dedicate on how to make this all really engaging and enriching at the elementary school level. So that's really exciting planning that we have going on. The YMCA is working with us and has been shared all the different themes that we have. And so their program is going to build on our program. The YMCA is looking at offering care before school, so starting at 7 until our program begins at around 8:20. And then the YMCA will offer care after our program ends until approximately 6 p.m. And that care will be at no cost to families. This is part of our proposal for the Extended Learning Opportunity Grant, that students that attend the elementary school summer school program can also participate in the YMCA extended care. We feel that this will help students grow even more during the summer since they are going to extend the programs that we're offering. They've assured us that their focus is on friendship building and new skill development. So we think that this will be really exciting programming for our elementary school students. And with that, I will open to any questions about the summer school program being offered this year.
Actually, I have one question. You had said this summer, this is our plan, and then you mentioned next summer. So is our goal that we will be offering summer school as the new normal, or just maybe for the next 2 summers, or?
At the moment, I can speak to the funding that we have from the Extended Learning Opportunity Grant.
Okay.
We would need to make some budgetary decisions moving forward with other funding sources should we wish to make this something that occurs on a regular basis in our district. The funding that we have for the Extended Learning Opportunity Grant can be used all the way through, I believe, the end of August of next year. So that's why we're able to offer programming for 2 summers. All right.
Are all the teachers and staff all part of the district currently, or are we having to hire people from that don't currently work for us?
We have staffing to run the number of students that we've described. We could certainly, we're still receiving more applications, but currently all the staffing is from our district, yes. And we have hired for the elementary school, a summer school principal. So one of our assistant principals will have the opportunity to step up and be a principal for the summer. So that's going to be a great leadership opportunity for that principal.
And then my other thing is we're going off of the 3-foot in classroom guidelines for that.
Yes, and this is part of what Ms. Emily King shared about the collaborative work that we were able to engage in for a summer school MOU. And we were really grateful for that collaborative process as well. And so that is putting us able to have students 3 feet apart. However, we are looking at keeping our classes not as large as we could. We want students to have a meaningful opportunity in there, so we will probably be a little bit more spaced out than the 3 feet. So I think that that's going to be a positive thing too for teacher-student interactions. Yes. Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Quinn and Dr. Fong.
Next, we go to Educational Services. Item B, adoption of the Expanded Learning Opportunity Grant Plan.
Yes, and so what you have before you is the district's Extended Learning Opportunity Grant for your approval. And I am happy to answer any questions that you might have about the Extended Learning Opportunity Grant plan that you have in front of you.
I have a question. You already answered that it's through August 2022. Will we be able to apply for this in perpetuity, or is this a one-time thing?
This is part of the governor's response to the pandemic. So
Okay.
our understanding is that this funding is tied to AB 86, which is a one-time funding. Are there any other questions or that I no? Great. Okay. Well,
Did anybody else have any other questions? Comments? If not, can I get a motion to approve item 9B, adoption of the expanded learning opportunity grant plan?
I'll make a motion to approve 9B, adoption of the expanded learning opportunity grant plan.
Thank you, Michelle. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Joe. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 10, personnel services. A, declaration of need for fully qualified educators.
Yes, this item is before you. Should we not be able to find credentialed teachers, we would have to hire interns. But our focus is first to retain teachers with credentials. But this is just if we need some wiggle room, if we can't find someone.
I had asked you previously, I know what your answer is going to be, but I'm going to ask it anyway. The need to use emergency credentialed teachers, we've been doing that for a period of years. Will you come to the board and let us know if that's the case again for the 21-22 school year?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
We'll provide the board with details.
Can I get a motion to approve item 10A, declaration of need for fully qualified educators?
I'll motion that we approve
Thank
agenda
you,
item
Mark.
10A.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Lef. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 10B, approval of job description for Director of Human Resources.
Yes, before you, you have a job description for Director of Human Resources. This involves a little bit of a reorganization within HR. The goal is to find a director that has experience in teaching and site leadership. And why would we do that? Because we currently don't have anyone within the department that has that experience. So that certificated experience creates a balance in the department. So I'm seeking approval of the Director of Human Resources position, job description.
Does anybody have any questions or comments? If not, can I get a motion to approve 10B, approval of job description for Director of Human Resources?
I move that we approve 10B, the approval of the job description for the Director of Human Resources.
Thank you. Can I get a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you, Joe. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 10C, approval of interim Director of Human Resources.
Currently, we are requiring some extra support on HR matters, and while we conduct a search for the Director of Human Resources. So we currently have requested the service of Loyal Carlin, who is an experienced Director of Human Resources, who's worked in Sonoma Valley, as well as in Santa Rosa. And so we've asked him to be the interim, and we're asking for approval of this period agreement for the next couple of months.
Did anybody have any questions or comments?
What happens if you don't find someone? Like, what would his contract extend month by month till we found someone? Or unless that person needs
This
more?
agreement is for the next 2 months.
Just the next 2 months?
And then July, we expect to have someone July 1. Mr. Carlin is also running our search for our Director of Human Resources.
And I'm assuming he helped write the job description?
Excuse me? Yes,
He helped
he did.
write the job description? Okay.
Yes.
Anybody else?
Yeah, so this position is this being done as a contractor position, no benefits?
No benefits. This is a daily rate.
Okay.
Anybody else? If not, can I get a motion to approve 10C, approval of interim Director of Human Resources?
I make a motion that we approve 10C, approval of interim Director of Human Resources.
Thank you. Can I get a second, please?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 11A, Resolution 2021-16, authorizing the establishment of Student Activity Special Revenue Fund 08.
Good evening, Board. So before you have the item before you, let me explain a little bit about what we're doing with this here. Governmental Accounting Standards Board, referred to as GASB, they are the ones that set standards government-wide for all government entities, which of course we have to adhere to. In statement number 84, GASB statement number 84, they're basically looking to establish the criteria on how they identify fiduciary activities of all state and local governments. So specifically looking at our ASB activities, historically we've been recording them in the district's audited financials at what they call a fiduciary fund. And basically what that means is the classification and where it fits into our audited financials. Basically, what we've been doing is it's just kind of a one-page, this is what we have in the activities, money's coming in, money's coming out. GASB 84 does require that the ASB activities be considered as a governmental fund as opposed to that. So what does that mean? Basically, all of our other funds are governmental funds. So this would fall in line with that, which means we have to set up a separate fund with the county treasurer. Fund 08 has been established by CDE for that. And so basically what we're asking the board to is to approve setting up Fund 08 in the district's financials. Any questions?
Thank you, Robert.
Sure.
Can I get a motion to approve item 11A, Resolution 2021-16, authorizing the establishment of Student Activity Special Revenue Fund 08?
I move that we approve, or make a motion to approve the Resolution 2021-16, authorizing the establishment of a Student Activity Special Revenue Fund 08.
Can I get a second, please?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Roll call.
Oh, sorry. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Brown.
Yes.
Trustee Chimino.
Yes.
Trustee Gillis.
Yes.
Trustee Nelson.
Aye.
Trustee Wing.
Yes.
Item 11B, approval of Chromebook purchase from Cdwg.
Okay, well, the next three items are kind of related in the fact that they're all planned purchases, and so we've had money set aside with them as part of the district-wide technology replacement plan. The first item that we have is to purchase 900 Chromebooks, and this will replace end-of-life units that we have currently, as well as replace some broken and lost devices, and will also allow us to keep a small inventory on hand of these devices. This particular purchase is part of the bond funds that we've set aside for that. And so we're asking for the approval of this purchase.
I have a question kind of related. What are we doing with all the Chromebooks that the students have right now?
They're currently still out with the students. My understanding, I don't believe that we're going to be collecting them just because of the current environment that we're under. But we do have it all tracked to, who has what type thing. Okay. But usually we collect them at the end of the year, but I believe this year we're not going to do that.
Okay. But we will be collecting them at some point?
Well, they'll be still continuing to be issued out to those students that are returning.
Okay.
And so, again, we'll just kind of be tracking those. Those devices that maybe at the end of the life cycle, we'll be making arrangements to swap those out.
Okay.
Anybody else have questions?
Do we scrap or recycle, or what do we do with the old ones?
I'm sorry?
We have worked with an agency to purchase them. So we do receive some funding.
Okay.
And we replenish our fund for technology.
Okay.
Any other questions? Can I get a motion to approve item 11B, approval of Chromebook purchase from CDW?
I make a motion that we approve 11B.
Can I get a second, please?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Item 11C, approval of iPad and Mac mini purchase.
So this particular item is to purchase 350 iPads. It's, again, to replace existing end-of-life iPads. And then in addition to that, we're looking to purchase 20 Mac Minis and also to replace, this will be replacing the librarian computers. As with the other, these are planned purchases. This particular one will be funded from the 2016 bonds. Any questions?
No questions? Can I get a motion to approve 11C, approval of iPad and Mac Mini purchase?
I'll make a motion, we approve 11C.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 11D, approval of iPad purchase for Tech Middle School's one-to-one program.
Okay, this is to purchase 140 iPads for the incoming sixth grade students. This is going to continue for one more year, our one-to-one program at TMS. Has been the case each year. Incoming sixth graders will receive new iPads, and then they use those for their years at TMS. The difference with this one, again, it is a planned purchase, and this one will be funded through Title IV funds, the balance that we have, and general fund will make up the difference on that.
Any questions?
Well, so you said this one's general fund?
I'm sorry, Mark?
You said this one is general fund?
This is on a schedule. This is something that we've been doing every year.
Okay.
So, question. So you've got Title IV and general fund. How's that split out of the total?
We have about $45,000 in Title IV, and then we're going to spend about $15,000 from the general fund.
Okay, so not that much from the general fund.
Not that much, no.
Okay. Great.
Any other questions? If not, can I get a motion to approve 11D, approval of iPad purchase for Tech Middle School's one-to-one program?
I'll motion that we approve 11D, approval of iPad purchase for TMS one-to-one program.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
12A, Board Services, Fiscal Update and Planning.
Okay, this is our standing item that we have. We've got a little bit more information for you tonight. The first topic I want to talk about is the budget summary report. This is a report that we've been presenting to the board each month. And this one basically shows the change in our budget, general fund, from March 31st to April 30th. You do see some pretty substantial changes in this particular budget, but what this reflects is the RIPSIA salary increase. So you're really going to see the bulk of it in certificated salaries and employee benefits. So that's what's really reflected here in this particular change in the budget. Okay, and let's see, I'll move on to the May revision. So as Ms. King had talked about, and the board's very aware, the governor did release his May revision for the 2021-22 school year. He released that on May 14th, right on time. And just a reminder, with the May revision, this is what we use for our adopted budget. So this information is one of the pieces that we have, a big piece, and helps us determine what our revenues are going to be, and then any other dollars or programs that may be out there. May revision is one of the keys in our budget calendar as we walk through the year, and so we're kind of happy to get this one under our belt. It's, again, one more piece of the puzzle. This May revision, it was much improved from last year at this time. At that time, we were right at the beginning in the pandemic. The state was really looking and anticipating some really huge deficits, and as a result, some really huge cuts to education. So it's a big difference from last year at this time. Governor Newsom is calling this May revision his California Comeback Plan, and it includes a mix of ongoing revenues and a lot of one-time investments also. About $100 billion, and it was made possible by some unanticipated revenues that were coming in, like a surge in revenues that they weren't expecting, and also a lot of the federal stimulus funding that was coming in, which was pretty substantial. So the May revision is using both of those sources, and again, on an ongoing and a one-time basis on that. The May revision also included eliminating the 21-22 cash deferrals. If you recall, as a result of the state's enacted budget, it included cash deferrals, meaning the money that they owed us, they were going to defer that and pay us the following year. As a result of that, we were anticipating some really large cash shortages on that. At that time, the deferrals were not only for this current year, but they were projecting them out a couple years more. So with the May budget, the deferrals will be eliminated with the exception of the one in June. That's continuing to be in place. Okay, and these are for 21-22. So this is welcome news, so we don't have to deal with the cash shortage that we did this year, and looking at the temporary borrowing through our trans, those types of things. The proposal for May also included universal TK, and Governor Newsom was looking to create a new grade level, basically TK with that. He also has other programs for preschool and childcare. He looked at programs for college access, affordability, programs and rebates for low-income families were included in the proposal. He's looking at the educator workforce and multi-year packages in order to equip and help add to the workforce for our teachers. And he also was looking at supplementing some of the dollars that we've already received with additional one-time dollars coming in on that. So I wanted to back up a little bit and talk a little bit about the funded COLA. That was one of the big parts of the May revision that we were anticipating. And I want to remind the board kind of where we came from. So back in January, this is the first that we were hearing from the governor at the January proposal, that he was entertaining this compounded COLA. So for 2021, we did not have a funded COLA, and he was looking to do kind of a catch-up. So taking what we would have got this year and what they were anticipating for the funded COLA for next year, combining those together and giving it all to us as a compounded COLA next year. At that time, we were looking at a 3.84%. And part of why this is important, so as we started to look and we knew we were getting these additional revenues, we started to look at how we can work with our unions and provide a salary increase with that. And so with the news in January, we decided to go ahead and move forward, presented the information to the board, and they approved the salary increases. So that was already built off the assumption of the compounded COLA in January of 3.84. Okay, so remember, so we've already kind of got those dollars in our budget for the out years, and now we've kind of said we're going to spend those down and do the salary increase. So we were glad to see that the May revised still had the compounded COLA, because using January, there's some risks with that because it's going to change. And it could have been no compounded COLA, or the numbers could have been reduced. But we were glad to see that the number actually went up to the 5.07. So that's welcome news. So we wanted to, but just remind you, we've already kind of accounted for 3.84 of that in our projections. So we do have some additional dollars coming in, which is welcomed. As I said, this is one part of the budget puzzle. We've already gotten some news in on other parts of the budget, such as our health and welfare rates. They've gone up. They will be going up 5% next year. We've been budgeting 3% historically, so that's a little bit increase in cost. And we also got some bad news with our SUI rates that have gone up, and that'll be looking at a one-time increase, but we're still looking at going from about $18,000, $19,000 cost to over $300,000 in an increase. So again, it's all parts of the puzzle. So we welcome the new dollars coming in, but we also know there's increased cost as we're working through the budget. It's important to remember this is still a proposal, right, from the governor. The state must adopt the budget by June 30th. So oftentimes there will be some minor changes in there, but I think with the level of funding that's coming in from revenues at the state. I wouldn't expect to see too much of a change on that, which is good. The state will adopt their budget in late June. We will have 45 days from that point to revise our budget for any significant changes. So the timing's always a little bit off, right? We have to adopt our budget, but the state hasn't finalized theirs yet. So we have that time to make those adjustments. And so we're going to be, this is just a summary of the budget. We did provide some information in the board packet. We'll be attending a budget workshop later this week, and that's where we get a lot more of the details on the budget. We will be presenting the budget, preliminary budget, and LCAP at the June 8th meeting. That will be for the general fund, and then the full budget will be presented for adoption along with the LCAP on June 22nd. Okay, any questions on the May revised?
So Robert, when you say the 3.84, we've already accounted for?
Mm-hmm.
So that leaves 1.23 basically that we can add into the budget.
Right.
And then anything, did you hear anything yet about STRS and PERS paying down any of that?
It was interesting in the governor's press conference. He started off talking about how there was money there to offset some of the STRS costs. But in January, he's really talking about things that he already had in place and just reminding us of that. So there was no additional impact to the rates that were in STRS or PERS in our budget.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, the next item is related to cash borrowing. So we talked a little bit in the May revision about the deferrals, and the board's aware that at 2 times this year that we brought resolutions for trans to the board, kind of to keep our options there. One of them was through CSBA, one of them was through a SCO program that we were looking to tap into. So we had all those in place, and basically we're ready to kind of pick what our best option was and move forward. But then we found out we were getting the state money, the AB 86 in-person instruction grant and the expanded learning opportunity grant that the board approved the spending plan on. With that, we learned that we were going to be getting about 50% of the cash in May on that. And so with that, it really reduced the level of cash that we would need to borrow. And then working with SCO on this, they basically came to us and said, well, what we can do is we will agree to some temporary lending you some cash if you fall short in June, at the end of June. And they'll do so at no cost. So if we were doing a trans, there's borrowing costs associated with this. So this is a good deal, a good thing that we're looking at, and SCO's willingness to temporarily lend us this cash. So at the June 8th meeting, we will be bringing another resolution, but this one will be for approval for us to borrow with SCO on this. So just more of a heads up for the board on that. Next item, Budget Committee.
Can I ask a question before we move forward?
Sure.
Or do you want questions all at the end? So I'm seeing a lot of, ongoing expenditures, but one-time grants. And I did have a question about the balance triggers a cap of 10% on school district reserves beginning in 2022 to 23. So is that saying we can't bank it for a rainy day? We can only have 10% in our reserves?
Well, currently right now, there's no level. A district can have the largest reserves, whatever they are able to accumulate. There's legislation in place, a law in place that if certain conditions come to pass, then there would be a reserve cap put in place, which means the maximum that you'd be able to keep your general fund reserves at are at 10%. Likely that conditions will come to play when they adopt the budget. And what that'll basically mean is for the following year, we can't have a reserve level above 10%. Unfortunately, that hasn't been an issue for us. So hopefully it will be, and then we have to kind of look at it and deal with it at that point. But if it becomes a reality, chances are we're not going to be affected by that. Darn. I know. Okay. Budget Committee. We have a Superintendent's Budget Advisory Committee that was established 2 years ago. And we, again, put the committee together for this year. And we met several times starting in September 2020. We are fortunate to have two of our board members that sit on that committee. Part of what we do in the committee is not only looking at the times where we have budget shortfalls and deficits and we need to start looking at maybe making some cuts, but there's always a focus on education. So we spend time going over a school district's budget, our budget. We talk about the drivers, what is driving the numbers. We talk about things within our budget, but we also talk about state level. We talk about budget calendar. So there's always a focus on education when we meet. And then we kind of get into, well, what are we really kind of dealing with at that time? So at the 45-day budget revision last August, we were looking at a $1.7 million deficit for 21-22 and a $3.4 million deficit for 22-23. So we started to kind of delve in, and we started to look, the committee started to look at areas that we may be able to look at for possible reduction and for savings. One of the things that we ended up with was our health benefits. Our health benefits currently have a composite rate, means we pay the same amount whether you're a single person or you have 10 kids, right? Your member, family, kids, the whole shebang. So we pay the same rate. So what we started to do is look and saying, if we move to a tiered rate, could we save some money? And a tiered rate basically means then we'd be paying a certain rate for single member, single plus one, and family. Those would all be different rates. And what we found out is, yeah, we could save some money on that. Potentially, we were looking at about $374,000. And not in addition to saving the district, there was also a way that the person, the employee, can save on out-of-pocket cost. So we put together a subcommittee, and the idea was to explore this, a group to sit down and kind of explore those options. This subcommittee consisted of representatives of each of our bargaining units, and the goal was to try to get a consensus. So we knew administratively we could not take on a tiered rate and a composite rate. Administratively, it'd be a huge burden. So we're saying, okay, we need to get everybody on board with this. The three unions, we met together, and then they went off with their constituents and kind of worked through it. So this took several months. As the committee met, we kind of gave an update on where we're at with the tiered rates. We did some education, and we were basically meeting monthly on this. Unfortunately, we got to the point now where we were not able to come to a consensus. And so we basically had to table the item. And so that was pretty much the work of the committee for this year. Unfortunately, we weren't able to come to a consensus and bring something to the board as a recommendation. However, there was a lot of groundwork done. So if future committees decide to take this up, we've done a lot of the work already. I think it's a good thing if they can take a look at it again. But we do need buy-in from everybody with it. In addition, I'd like to recommend that the 21-22, that the budget committee will continue. We have a new CBO coming on board, so he'll take the reins on that, working with Dr. Perez, and keep the committee going. I think it's a good idea. While I think the state is looking pretty flush right now, there's always drivers on the expense side, and so I think it's likely we're going to continue to be challenged with our budget as we move forward. So it'll be important to have that committee equipped and ready to make the decisions when the time comes. Any questions on our budget committee? Okay. Last thing I wanted to talk about was enrollment. So you have the enrollments report attached. This is one that we do monthly. It compares our enrollment from where we ended in April to where we ended in the previous month, March. Pleased to say we're up 20 students, which is great. We've been providing the board with this additional breakdown on what that looks like, and we in the past always just reported the net number, but now we've decided, well, let's dig in a little bit. Of that 20, we had 32 new students entering the district. 9 of them were within the county, so we're getting them from neighboring school districts. 10 out of the county, 12 were out of state. So we still have this thing where we're continuing to, people are moving into the area from out of state, which is a good thing, at least if they're coming to our schools. To offset that, we had 15 students exiting, 1 within the county, and we had 5 move out of the county and 7 out of state. So we're continuing to lose that influx of students coming in from out of the county or out of state and then going out also. But pleased to see that we actually gained 20 students this month. Any questions? Okay.
Do you think that housing contributes to the incoming, new housing? Do we know?
We don't know.
Or is it just transition from people moving?
Yeah, it's hard to say. We haven't really, I think, again, we're very fortunate that we have the development that we have. And I think we're going to continue to draw students from that new development. We don't always know if they're coming from within our district and just moving, or they're actually coming in and buying a house and moving into the area. So, yeah, I don't have that answer on the impact of our development.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Robert. 12B, initial proposal from Rohnert Park Cotati Educators Association for 2021 contract reopener negotiations.
Yes, you have the sunshine from our RIPSIA members, and you see they're featuring 3 articles, 15 wages, Article 6 class size, and Article 4 hours. We have not completed our response to the sunshine, and you will get that at the next board meeting. We're seeking your approval.
Any questions or comments?
I have a question about this. So we had some people mention combination classes and class size today. I see a lot of maintain class sizes. Combination classes need to be smaller and provide assistance. Is there a plan to increase class sizes or implement more combination classes?
We have a specific ratio or average that we must adhere to, and we definitely are considering adding teachers with our extra funding. It would be one time, but we really believe that we want to be able to support our students as we go to full-time instruction. We're still looking at the numbers and deciding how we're going to do that, but definitely we're considering that.
We're considering making our class sizes smaller.
Right. The average, Robert, help me, the average for the primary grades is 24, right? And then I believe it's, I'm not sure for the upper grades. I think it's a little bit higher.
I believe it's 28.
28, yeah, that's what I thought.
Honestly, I'm not entirely certain.
So there's an average that we must adhere to. So then if we are able to add staff, we could possibly lower class size.
How are combo classes decided? Is that something a principal would decide based on the?
Well, the challenge with combo classes is we don't have enough number of students, right? Kids do not come in sets of 24.
Right.
So they enroll. And one of the things that we need to be cognizant of is we have very small schools in Cotati Rohnert Park. So the smaller the school, the increased likelihood that we're going to have combination classes. So for example, at UELF, they do implement multi-age, which is something we're many years ago in New Zealand, it was a very popular concept where you place children between the ages of 5 and 7 in the same class, and you're able to modify instruction according to that. That is a model, and that's a model implemented at UELF. But it is not a model that everyone's comfortable with, and there's a lot of professional development required. But really, the combination classes are how the numbers fall and how many students we have at a school. So we definitely, that's something that the teachers work on with their principals to form their classes. So, their combination classes might be a little bit easier than others, and then there's ones that are very complex. Like a 3rd and 4th grade might be complex because those children may have a less of a rigorous schedule than fourth graders in terms of the curriculum. So we're definitely looking at that, and we do believe that we need to support. We've definitely heard staff, and we want to look at the numbers and see how we can support with our extra one-time money to be able to alleviate some of the combos, because some of the schools have several combos, and that can be very challenging.
So in Roanoke Park, we allow our elementary students to enroll at any of the elementary schools they want to, right? So you could live in F section and go to Monte Vista.
Absolutely.
Is that creating a challenge where there's an odd number of students that want to go to a specific school, and so now we don't have groups of 24, and so now we're having to create more combo classes because there's more students at one school than another school?
I don't have that precise information to determine if that's happening. I don't think so. I think the smaller size schools are the challenge. And the other thing about a smaller size school is there's one first grade teacher, there's one second grade teacher. So then the notion of collaboration becomes very difficult in terms of planning. You don't have a colleague. So, but definitely we will be looking at the numbers and seeing that. But we have some schools that have a larger number of combos than other schools, and we want to be able to provide that support. So we'll be looking at the numbers.
Any other questions? If not, can I get a motion to approve 12B, initial proposal from RIPSIA for 2021 contract reopener negotiations?
I move that we approve the initial proposal from the Roanoke Park Toddy Educators Association for 2021 contract reopener negotiations.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
12C, first reading, review revisions to Administrative Regulation 5113, absences and excuses.
Yes, the policy before you, the AR before you is 5113. What it really does, this policy is defined excused absences. It is also including quarantine in here, which is a new dynamic we're dealing with. It talks about parenting students. It includes these students. Verification of absences is also defined, and it's a description of how parents will be notified regarding excusing the student absences, which we must do annually. And I believe this is the first reading. So we will bring it back to the June 8th board meeting for approval.
Item 12D, first reading, review revisions to board policy and Administrative Regulation 6145.2, athletic competition.
So these two policies are directly related to athletic competition. It ensures that athletic programs are not discriminatory. We need to abide by CIF rules, bylaws, and rules. The board annually designates a representative to the local athletic activities. Students will not be charged fees. We must guarantee that. It describes what happens in the event of a student injury. And in terms of the AR, we must post information regarding our athletic programs. We provide information on concussions and head injuries to our families and parents, information on student cardiac arrest, and we provide information on signs and symptoms on concussions and cardiac arrest. And this also touches on the Title IX rights provided to parents. And these are both the first reading, and they'll come back to the board in a future meeting.
If we have questions, can we ask them about the first reading?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to go back to the previous one, 12C, the absence one, where it talks about funerals, and it's talking about members of the immediate family. I don't see anything in there for resource parents or foster families, so I'm wondering about that. And then in the it's talking about justifiable personal reasons, including but not limited to, and it says attendance at a religious retreat is not to exceed 4 hours per semester. And I'm just wondering, wouldn't that be like a half a day? So what kind of retreat would be for 4 hours instead of a full day? So that just mathematically doesn't make sense to me. So those were two things that I saw.
Well, definitely foster parents or other parents would be included in this, although they are not named. This is CSBA language, and definitely remember, this is a broad, kind of the regulations that we use. We would certainly use those individual case by case to determine excusing absences. So this is a guideline.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? 12E, first reading, review new board policy 3470 regarding parcel taxes.
Okay. Parcel tax. This is really the protocols on the placement of a parcel tax on a ballot for the approval of voters. So this is the protocols the district must adhere to.
Any questions or comments? Item 12F, second reading, approve revisions to board policy 4033, lactation accommodations.
And this is for our staff and students that might be parenting. And we reviewed this at our last board meeting. So this is a second reading for approval.
Any questions or comments? If not, can I get a motion to approve 12F, second reading, approve revisions to board policy 4033, lactation accommodations?
I'll make a motion that we approve 12F.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Item 13, reports, board member reports, and future agenda items. We'll start with Michelle.
No, I had the pleasure of going to a DLAC and Parent Advisory LCAP meeting that Dr. Lucelina presented, and I found it very informative, and I thought...
Michelle, could I ask you to pop this off just a little bit? I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Maybe your mask. Can you?
I can take it off if you guys want me to take it off.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
That's much better.
Okay, there we go.
Thank you.
So Dr. Lucelina did a DLAC and an Parent Advisory LCAP meeting, and so it was wonderful to actually get a little sneak peek of what summer school is going to look like, and I'm really excited that we're bringing that to our students. And I want to thank RIPSIA as well as the district negotiating team for amending the MOU to 3 feet, and I like that we're meeting the county guidelines. And I look forward to being in person full-time year-round next year. So that's it.
Thank you. Left?
Just another congratulations to our retirees. It's always, tough to see those teachers, having been here as long as some of them, to see them leave. Big holes, so a special thank you to them, and also looking forward to August when there's more normality in the district. And looking forward to the graduations, too. I will have to get you my list of which ones I will attend. I'll do that in the next few days.
Thank you. I'll pass. Mark?
I'm really excited to hear about the summer school program this year and hopefully next year for grade recovery and for catch-up for a lot of the kids that have suffered and struggled. Either with COVID or just in school in general. So I'm glad that we are doing that, and I'm looking forward to the governor's budget details, getting more on that. So I'd like to see that 5.07. So hopefully that will result in some of these one-time grants helping out our kids and the educational process quite a bit.
Thank you. Joe?
I want to say thanks a lot to Robert. We were on a committee, and I always appreciate the way he explained things to me, and how he always had a very calm, smooth demeanor. And it helps when you have no idea when someone's talking about something and they have to explain it to you more than once. So I appreciate that, and I wish you luck. I'm super excited about summer school. I'm sure my kid isn't, but I hope he gets to, I hope that he gets in there and he gets some help. I wanted to kind of, like the last meeting, I got kind of emotional, and I'm never afraid to be like emotional about my family. People have said that I don't speak for parents. Well, I'm a parent. I have a kid who's doing really well and a kid who's not. I'm feeling both ends of it. I have a wife who has her own opinion. I have a lot of friends and family, and I'm not special. So if I feel that if I feel a certain way, that means there's a lot of other people that feel a certain way. I would do everything I could to make everyone's life better. I'm sure everyone at the district would, and it's hard that can't happen. I totally understand that people have had a horrible year, and all different sorts of reasons, but I think that the thing that makes me happy is that, I look at Myra, she's building an awesome team that next year will be at full time. We don't know what that looks like, but it took a lot of hard work. There's a lot of stuff that went behind the scenes. Some things that sometimes I feel things are just so easy to do, they're not. It's a lot of moving parts, and when you're always changing direction, it's really hard on families. And so through this whole time, that's what I was thinking about, is making all these changes all the time, what that's like for a family, to change a dynamic, what's that like for a teacher. I just really appreciate the district for doing what it did, and I appreciate all the teachers that stuck through it, because I bet some people wanted to quit and they didn't, and they stuck through it, and that means a lot to all the kids and families. So I appreciate everyone in the district that gave everything they could this year.
Thank you, Joe. 13B, Superintendent's Report.
Well, I'm over the moon excited that our students are back. I was, the last few weeks since our last regular board meeting, I had the opportunity to visit Han and visit all the classrooms, and Polly Cam has never looked better. She's styling it throughout that campus. I've also been able to visit Rancho Cotati and Tech High, and our kids are actively engaged, learning every minute, and it's very exciting to see, and they're excited to be back. We had a union partner meeting where we gathered input on LCAP and the ELO grant. Thank you, Dr. Perez, for doing an exceptional job. The superintendents have a community of practice. A few of us asked to meet in person to talk about how to discuss equity concerns that we face on a daily basis. And we're trying to build a PD, a professional development plan within that for all superintendents to really talk about the area of equity. This year was very hard. I was one of the facilitators along with the Forestville superintendent, but we're going to get on our way and do some work in that area. And it's very exciting to be working with our colleagues. I've never met these people. And it's May, so it's exciting to start seeing them. I also had a meeting with Sarah Fountain, who is part of the CSLA coaching grant. It is a grant that provides administrators that have their administrative services credential opportunities to have a critical friend to discuss their data and how they're moving school forward. We have some of our principals that are participating, so this is exciting, particularly Price, because it's free of charge, and to have coaching in this manner is amazing. We attended the governance workshop with Peter Fagan, attended the Leadership 40 meeting with Sonoma County superintendents. This is an opportunity where we brainstorm and share what's going on throughout the county. We also have the Sonoma Squad, which is the female superintendents who meet to discuss hot topics in the county. Also I've had a couple meetings with Dr. Paul Porter, who is serving as my coach, and will also be providing team building activities to the management team. We'll be probably beginning this as soon as the summer. And that's my report.
Thank you. Item B1, filed Williams complaints. We received no complaints. And as of that, we will adjourn the meeting.
Great. Super.